Hi guys, welcome to this first lecture on Microsoft Excel. So we'll see some basic operations today using Excel. So on my screen you see the Excel. So here you have the menu bar. We have different menus starting from file, home, insert, page layout, formulas, data. All are different menu. And then next to the menu bar you have the ribbon. This white strip we call it as a ribbon. And as I click on the different menu, you could see the ribbon changes. Ribbon is just a collection of different tools and buttons and icons which could be used for a specific purpose. So all those related buttons having specific functions are grouped together as one menu. So we have, say for example, you go to insert menu. The insert menu you have insert pivot table, you can have insert table, insert charts, pivot charts, 3D maps. So like that, all those things which could be inserted are grouped together and put as one insert menu. So as you change the menus, you will see the ribbon is also getting changed. And in the ribbon you will see different categories. We call it as sections. So under the home menu you have the clipboard section, font section, alignment section, number section, and each section will have a group of related functions or a group of buttons which could perform a related task. Say for example, if you go to the alignment section, you will have all those tools which are required to align the data which you have in the data sheet. And when you come down, you have a small box here which says A1, which is the name box. As I move through the cells, you could see the name mentioned in the name box keeps changing. Each cell has a name. We'll see it in a couple of minutes. And that cell name appears in the name box. And over here, the white strip, the long white strip is called as the formula bar, where you could see the formula what you enter and you can edit it. And if you come over here, this is our workspace. And here you will see some kind of a table over here where you have a collection of rows and also collection of columns. And you'd observe every column is named with the alphabets and every row is numbered sequentially. And the columns goes on like this with alphabets A, B, C, D up to Z, and after Z it starts with A, B, A, C, and then up to AZ, and then it starts with BA, BB, BC. It keeps going on, and the rows goes sequentially following the numbers. And at the point of intersection of a column and a row, we call it as a cell or a field. And say for example, this particular cell which is highlighted here is called as the active cell, and the name, the reference or the cell address, we call it cell address or cell reference for this particular highlighted cell, we call it as a D3. Okay, so D3 means it's a D column and it's a third row. So, and we use the capital letters to denote the particular cell, reference the particular cell. So this we call as a D3. And if I make this cell as active, it is G4. If I make over here, it is C10. So we use the column reference and the row reference to indicate a particular cell. So this is how a cell is referenced or addressed. And if I select a group of cells like this, we call it as a cell range. And the cell range is denoted by, so say for example, here I have selected 6 cells starting from the cell C2 ending with the cell C7. So this selection is represented as C2 is to C7. So this indicates that I am selecting all the cells starting from cell 2 through till cell 7. So this is we called as a cell range or a cell array, where we select a group of cells together. Alternatively, we can also select the cells as a table. Sometimes we'll have a table of data where you have a collection of rows and columns. So in this case, the table could also be referenced using the cell address. So here this table could be referenced as B2 is to E7. So this is how we reference a particular table. So we select all the cells starting from the cell B2 ending with the cells E7. So this table could be referenced as B2, it's capital letters always, B2 is to E7. So this is how we reference the cells, whether it is a cell array or a table. So when we speak about a table is a collection of rows and columns. And we'll take a simple example of a table. Say for example, student ID. and then we shall have student name, and then we shall have some marks of two subjects called science and maths. And here we have the student ID starting from 101, and we can have a number of students here. We can have some student names here, and then we can have some marks for them. All right, and yeah, so here we have a small table starting from the cell A1 ending with the cell D3. And in this table, let me give a border to this. So I'll select the entire table. I'll add a border to this. Okay, so in this table, the first row, which I'm going to highlight here with the fill color option, this we call it as formatting the table. So I just made sure that the first row is highlighted in a cream color, and let me give a red color font color for the names over there, and then I have bolded it and I have made it center aligned. So these are called as formatting options. So let me go and remove the grid lines. I go to the view menu, and then I check out the grid lines options under the view menu. We'll come back to the home menu. So this is how we format a table. And over here, if you observe this, you will see we have some text data, we have some numeric data, and always in Excel, all the text data is aligned towards the left hand side of the cell, and all the numbers, numeric data, are aligned towards the right hand side of the cell. So this is a default feature because a text we always read from left to right, and the numbers we always read from right to left. And over here we have a small table, as I said, and now we'll see how we enter data into a particular table. So you just saw me entering the values over here, and there is some feature called as autofill through which we could speed up our data entry process. Say for example, so here I have the student ID from 101 to 102, and I want to add 8 more students till 110. So I don't have to type the numbers sequentially, like say 103, 103, 104 or 105. I don't have to go in this fashion. So what I can do is I can select both the cells together, and I can move the mouse to the corner of the cell, the edge of the cell, and then I can just left click my mouse button over there, and then I can just keep dragging it until I get 8 more data points, that is till 110. So this way we could create a data table. So let me add few more names over here, and then you have the numbers here, the marks over here. So the way how we incremented the student ID from 101, 102 to 110, the same way the marks can also be incremented or decremented. So in the column C, I have two values, 100 and 96, separated by a difference of 4 numbers. So I'm going to select these two cells together, and I'm going to drag it here. Instead of dragging it, I'll just move the mouse to the corner of the cell, and I'm going to just double click at that point where my cursor turns into a dark plus symbol. I'm going to double click. If I double click, Excel smartly understands, okay, and I need to stop in the 11th row, because after the 11th row there is no data over here. And you would see here Excel understands the pattern, which is the number has to decrease with a difference of 4. And if I repeat that for the cells in the column D, where you have numbers starting from 40 with a difference of again 4, okay, for that matter we'll make it as with a difference of 5, and then I'm going to select both the cells together, and I'm going to double click over here. If I do that, now the numbers would increase with the difference of 5 until 85. So now let me add a border to the entire table, because at the column B we don't have a border. So we need to select the entire column to entire table. If you want to select the entire table, you need to click inside the table, and you can press Ctrl A to select the entire table. If you want to select only that particular column, you can go to the top of the column, and then you could press Control Shift down arrow. That will select the entire column. If you want to select that entire row, you could go to the first cell, and then you could press Control Shift right arrow. That will select the entire row as well. Say for example, if you want to select only the columns B, C and D, you can go to the first cell, which is B1, and you could press Control Shift right arrow and Control Shift down arrow. That will select the entire all the 3 columns. So in this case, I want to select only the column B, so I'm going to click on the cell B2 and then press Control Shift down arrow, and I'm going to add the borders. So this way we could format a particular table which we created. And how to save the file? We all know that you can go to the file and then click on the save button, or alternatively the shortcut is Control S, and then you could select a particular location in your system, and then you could just click on the save button, and that would save the file for us. And this is how we create a table in Excel. Thank you so much for joining me. Please follow the YouTube channel, subscribe and like, and wait for the next video. Thank you.